What's up, guys? Grayson here. It is Friday, September 20th. We have NFL Week 3 here. And in today's video, we're going to be putting together some correlation slips for 4 different games this week. But before we get into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. You've liked the video, and also let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on these bets. And with all that said, let's get some slips in. All right, guys. So as you guys see, we have Prizepicks up on the left side of the screen, and on the right, we have FanDuel. So the whole reason of why it's important to see these slips built out is to compare the lines to the sports book. So we've got 4 games to go over. We're going to be looking at Eagles versus Saints, Texans versus Vikings, Bears versus Colts, and then the Giants versus the Browns. So we're going to head over to the NFL tab over on Prizepicks, and we're going to start off with this we're going to start off with the Eagles and Saints game first, and then we'll work from there. So I'm going to go talk through everything from a number standpoint so you guys see where we're getting the value. So the first leg of the Eagles and Saints correlation slip is going to be Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So as you guys see, this is going to be one of the demon props that we have here, and I'll talk about why we use this. But what would be something that's correlated with taking a quarterback over passing touchdowns would be taking a receiver over receiving touchdowns. So we're going to go over to rushing and receiving touchdowns, and we're going to take Devonta Smith over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns here. And then we're going to need one more prop on the Eagles side of the ball. And again, not necessarily correlated with passing touchdowns, but if we have a high passing game, we're going to likely see several receivers go over their receiving yards line. So with that said, we are going to be taking Dallas Goedert over 38.5 receiving yards. And before we move on to the Saints, I'm going to go ahead and click the same game parlay over here on FanDuel. And I'm going to plug this in so you guys get an idea of what we're looking at numbers wise. So we're going to come down to Jalen Hurts, 2+ passing touchdowns. And then for an anytime touchdown score, we're going to be taking Devonta Smith. And then we're going to head down to receiving yards for Dallas Goedert, and we're going to be taking the over there. All right, so with our first 3 props in, we're going to go ahead and hop over to the Saints side of the ball. We're going to look at Derek Carr, and we're going to be taking his over passing yards at 235.5. And then correlating that with his receivers, we are going to be taking 2 of his receivers over on receiving yards. So Shaheed over 51.5 receiving yards. And then we're also going to be taking Chris Olave over 63.5. So that's going to be our 6th leg here. Now for me, this is a 25x slip. I am in Arena. So for those of you guys who are not in Arena on just normal Prizepicks, this should be a 22x payout. But obviously, as you guys see here with Arena, I'm only getting a payout on the 6 of 6 and the 5 of 6. So I get 1x my money on the 5 of 6 here. If you guys are in non-Arena, you guys should be getting a 2.75x payout on the 5 for 6, and then a 0.4x on the 4 for 6. So let me go ahead and plug this back in over on FanDuel to show you guys exactly the math breakdown here. So we ended up taking Derek Carr's over passing yards, and then we also have the over receiving for Olave and Shaheed. So for you guys in non-Arena, technically the multiplier here is going to be about plus 4,400 because we have to take into consideration the insurance that you guys have. On FanDuel, if you're playing this straight up, you are technically going to have you're actually still going to have a lower payout if you go 6 for 6. It's about even for those of you guys who are on non-Arena. It should be right about that 22x. But you have to go 6 for 6 here. If you go 5 for 6, you get nothing back. So we have to take that into consideration with the Prizepicks insurance technically. So this is our 6-man. Again, we have Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Devonta Smith over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns, Dallas Goedert over 38.5 receiving yards, and then on the Saints side we have Derek Carr over 235.5 passing yards, and then the over receiving yards for Shaheed and Olave. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the next slip. This is going to be for the Texans and Vikings game. So our first leg in this one, let me get this pulled up for you guys. All right, so the first one we're going to be taking here is going to be Sam Darnold Over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is also going to be another demon prop, and we're going to pair this with Justin Jefferson, who's going to be our receiver for the over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. Okay, obviously correlated there. And then we're going to take our one last receiving yards prop, and we're actually going to be taking Aaron Jones. Should be at 19.5 receiving yards. And then we're going to hop over to the Texans side, and we're going to take CJ Stroud over passing yards, and the same drill here with receiving yards for both Nico Collins and then also Tank Dell. And you guys can feel free to play around with this if you would rather take, Stephon Diggs here, kind of just playing around with which receivers you'd rather take. That's totally up to you guys. So again, here I have a 25x payout, 1x on the 5 for 6 for the lineup protection, if you want to call it that. But this should be the exact same payout as the other slip for you guys who are in non-arena. So you should be getting a 22x payout with that 2.75 if you're going 5 for 6, and then 0.4 for 4 for 6. So we're over here on FanDuel, which we're going to compare the lines to. I am on the same game parlay here. We're going to take Justin Jefferson to score. We're going to take passing yards for Stroud. We're going to take 2+ touchdowns passing for Sam Darnold. Receiving yards for Nico, Tank Dell, and Aaron Jones. So this is another thing you guys may see. Sometimes it'll be like this, sometimes it won't. You guys are technically getting a 22x payout, which means if you put $100 on it, you're going to get paid out $2,200. However, if you were to put $100 on this slip on FanDuel, technically you're getting more money, about $300 worth of more money. But this is where a lot of people would look at the lines and say, oh, that's not a good prize pick slip because I can get paid more elsewhere. But again, we have to take into consideration the insurance that we get on prize picks by having that, coverage if we were to go 5 for 6 or 4 for 6. Because a lot of times, the whole reason we play correlation slips is essentially predicting a game script that is high passing, high scoring, that sort of thing. So there's a very good possibility that, we could see Darnold hits, Jefferson and Jones also cash, Stroud may throw for 300 and cash his passing yards prop, and then maybe Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs cash their prop and Tank Dell goes under. So a 5 for 6 would technically still be profitable on prize picks because we're getting a higher payout, so to speak, than FanDuel. So that's going to be our 6th leg for the Houston and Minnesota game. On to the third slip, Bears and Colts. Let me go ahead and clear this for you guys. We are going to have a higher payout on these next 2 slips, okay? So for the Bears and Colts game, we are going to start off with Caleb Williams over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Let's see, where are we at? There we go. And then correlating with that, we are going to be taking DJ Moore over half a touchdown. And our last prop for the Bears, we're going to be taking Cole Kmet over 21.5 receiving yards. And now for the Colts, we're going to go take Anthony Richardson over passing yards. And then we have the over receiving yards for both Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. Just like that. Cool. So for arena people, we have a 28x payout with a 1x protection on both 5 for 6 and 4 for 6. Okay. If you guys are in non-arena, so normal prize picks, you should have a 27x payout with a 3x on the 5 for 6 and a 0.4x for the 4 for 6. So again, we're here on the same game parlay, just showing you guys, comparing the lines so you guys see what exactly we're looking at here. Caleb Williams, 2+ passing touchdowns. We go to receiving yards. We're going to be taking the over on Michael Pittman, Cole Kmet, and Alec Pierce. Anytime touchdown scorer, we have DJ Moore. And then we have over passing yards for Anthony Richardson. So again, similar here if you're on non-arena, or if you are on arena, 28x here and also a plus 2,800. But this technically, the math on this is about plus 5,000 on Prizepicks if you guys are in non-arena, okay? So again, the insurance protection is there. So just to go over this one more time, Caleb Williams over 1.5 passing touchdowns, DJ Moore over half a rushing and receiving touchdown, Cole Kmet over 21.5 receiving yards, and then Richardson over pass yards, Pittman and Pierce over receiving. All right. One final slip we have here, Giants, Browns. This is going to be the highest payout for our correlation slips that we're going over today. So the first leg in this one is going to be, let me pull it up, Deshaun Watson, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So we're starting on the Brown side, over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and we're going to be correlating this with Amari Cooper to score, which I actually really like a lot. Again, if there are other props available that you would rather play, feel free to do so. Just kind of, you have to follow this, this, not necessarily the script, but this, the style of which we're doing the correlation slip. So you have to have 3 on each team. And then the correlation here between Watson and Cooper, just that quarterback, wide receiver kind of touchdown correlation there. So those are going to be our 3 Brown props. And then we're going to take Daniel Jones over 184.5 passing yards. Where is he at? Did I skip over him? There it is, right at the top. So we're taking Daniel Jones over 184.5. And then we're going to be taking the over receiving yards for Malik Neighbors and then also Wan'Dale Robinson. All right, so for me, this is the arena payout is 35x with a 1x protection on the 5 for 6 and the 4 for 6. For those of you who are on normal Prizepicks, non-arena, this should be a 32x payout with a 3.5x on the 5 for 6. And then again, the 0.4x for 4 for 6. So once again, just one last time to show you on FanDuel in which, you know, what we're comparing the odds to. Amari Cooper, anytime touchdown. We're taking the over passing touchdowns for Deshaun Watson. Over passing yards for Daniel Jones, and then the receiving yards overs for Neighbors, Jerry Jeudy, and Wan'Dale Robinson. So this is plus 2,600. And then for those of you guys technically have a higher payout anyways on Prizepicks plus the insurance. So this is an awesome slip to take. Again, the sportsbooks don't think this is necessarily likely to happen, but it's football. Anything can happen. So that's going to be our final slip. Let me know if you guys have any questions about correlation. I know I only covered 4 of the games and we have a lot, including college football. But let me know if you guys have any questions about the math that goes into that. And if you want access to all of the slips, make sure you get in the Dub Club. Not really sure why Prizepicks is bugging on me here, but the link for the Dub Club is going to be in the description of this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed, like the video, and again, leave a comment if you have any questions regarding correlation or sports betting in general. So appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.